We are coming up on the month of March, and that means a new month of big PlayStation 4 game releases. In today's video, I want to take a look at the games that I think you should drop your hard-earned money on, and the games that you're better off waiting for a sale on or skipping altogether. Generally, with these series, I have an idea of what games typically go on sale rather quickly based on the type of game that it is, based on the publisher that it's released by, and all of the variety of different factors. I also take into account the price that the game is being released for, and all of those factors as well. I try to explain myself pretty thoroughly, so without further ado, we've got 14 games to go over, and we're gonna start off with the games that I think you should buy, and we've only got 3 games out of the 14 that fit into this category. And first up, I think the obvious buy for the month of March is Sekiro Shadows Die Twice. From Software is back with their latest game, and it's not a Souls game, however, it does look to be a very challenging action-adventure title. We've got Sekiro Shadows Die Twice, and this is a game that's probably gonna have a lot of content. Quality-wise, it's probably gonna be top-notch, and yes, it is an Activision published game, but to me, all that tells me is Activision gave From Software a ton of resources to make Sekiro, and Sekiro is going to turn out to be a great game. As long as From Software were kept to their own devices working on this game, it's going to turn out really, really well, and this is going to be one game that's going to be worth your $60. Traditionally, the From Software games have held up in price as well, so I don't foresee this one having a steep discount very quickly, and just generally speaking, it's going to be top-notch from a quality standpoint, so this one definitely worth $60. Next one, it's a game that not a lot of you guys are talking about at this point, but Generation Zero is a game that I think is going to take the gaming world by storm, and it's going to surprise a lot of people, and best of all, it's not being released at a full $60, rather it's at a $35 price point, and when you look at this game, it could honestly be a big budget $60 release, but hey, Avalanche went out of their way and they thought, let's just release this game at $35, and for that, I'm going to say that this game is a buy. The game centers around 1980s Sweden. The local population has disappeared and hostile machines roam the streets. You'll explore an open world to unravel the mystery, perfect your fighting strategies, and prepare to strike back. You can play alone or together with up to 3 friends as you discover ways to defeat the invaders. This is a game that I would definitely recommend you to pick up if you have a group of friends that you're planning on playing with, because it looks really great. You'll have to survive in this hostile open world. It's got 1 to 4 player with seamless multiplayer, so you can play it solo if you want, but again, I just think for the type of game Generation Zero is going for, it's really going to be benefited based on multiplayer, so just bear that in mind. But the fact that it is being released at $35, that's gonna put it in the buy section. And Generation Zero is out March 26th. Next up, it's a game that I would recommend you to buy if you have interest in this franchise and if you're really looking to get into it, and that is the Danganronpa Trilogy. Now, yes, this is a re-release of games that are already out. However, take this into account. The Danganronpa 1 and 2 collection still goes for a really high price, and Danganronpa 3 is also obscenely expensive. This trilogy comes with all 3 games at $60. Right now, the PlayStation Store is running their Critics' Choice sale, and guess what? All 3 of the games are on sale. The 1 and 2 Reloaded collection as well as Danganronpa 3. The 1 and 2 Reloaded collection is $28, while Danganronpa 3 is $42. If you were to buy them now while they're on sale, you would be paying $70. With the trilogy, it's being released at $60, and that's its base price, so I think this is a much better route to go if you're looking to get into the Danganronpa franchise. If you've been following this channel, you know how highly I think of Danganronpa. I think it's a great series of games, and all of the games are rather lengthy. The first one took me around 20 hours, same for the second, and same for the third. You're getting lengthy games here, and the Danganronpa Trilogy will be out on March 26th. So those are the games I would say are buys. With Danganronpa Trilogy, it's a little bit of a caveat because I don't see that game being up everyone's alley, but if you've been eyeing Danganronpa and the games just have been a little bit too out of your price range, well, the trilogy is bringing all 3 games at a cheaper price. Generation Zero, with the fact that it is being released at a more budget-oriented price of $35, that's much more palatable, and Sekiro Shadows Die Twice, it's a From Software game, it's gonna be excellent, and that's one that I do think is worth the $60. Now let's go into everything else, because we've got 11 games that I think you guys should hold off on, wait for a sale, or skip altogether. First up, we have a highly anticipated fighting game in Dead or Alive 6, so that'll be out March 1st. Now, the issue with Dead or Alive 6 is I'm sure it's gonna be a pretty good game. Unfortunately, this is another game that's gonna have a lot of DLC released, and if you want the entire experience, you're gonna have to be dropping an insane amount of money. So for that reason, I would say wait on Dead or Alive. It's not like these fighting games traditionally hold their value for a long time. Sometimes you wait enough and there's a complete edition released, and I'm sure with Dead or Alive 6 that'll be coming. I just don't think picking up the base game for $60 is worth it. I would say wait to get it on sale, or wait for a complete edition of some sort, but Dead or Alive 6 will be out on March March 1st. Next up, we have a very interesting game coming over from the guys at White Paper Games and being published by Humble, and that is The Occupation. The Occupation is a single-player game taking place in a single government building in real time over 4 hours, and the game advances without input from the player, but almost all in-game actions can affect the game's story. So you do have that time mechanic to worry about with The Occupation. I like the premise that the game is going for. We still don't know what the price is going to be for The Occupation, but I just can see this game can turn out one of two ways. It could turn out to be a really compelling experience, or it could be a little bit of a fumble. Regardless, I just don't sense the anticipation for this game is here, and I could see it either going on sale pretty quickly or even being a PlayStation Plus game down the line. So for that reason, I would say wait on it, but it is out March 5th. Next up, we have a game that some people might be a little bit surprised that I'm saying wait for a sale on, and that's because I've been talking it up a little bit, and that's Left Alive. That is out March 5th, and it's a brand new IP by Square Enix. It is set within the Front Mission universe, but most are looking at it as a new franchise being kicked off by Square Enix, and I could see this game turning out really well. There's a star-studded cast of developers working on the game, and what we've seen thus far has looked really great. Unfortunately, because it's a Square Enix game, I know how they operate. Sometimes they'll release really great games like a Kingdom Hearts 3, but sometimes you'll get a Just Cause 4 or you'll get a Final Fantasy 15. Now, it's not fair to put the entirety of Square Enix under one umbrella because you do have a bunch of different development studios working on games, but in the case of Left Alive, I could see if this game doesn't perform up to par commercially, that it goes on sale pretty quickly. We've seen that with Square Enix releases. I point to a Shadow of the Tomb Raider, I point to a Just Cause 4, I could see the same thing happening with Left Alive. Even still, I would say at the very least, wait for the reviews on this. See how this game turns out as a new IP from Square Enix. You always have to be a little bit skeptical, and for that reason, I would say wait for a sale on this one, but definitely have it on your radar. On March 5th, when this game comes out, see how the general reception is, and then go from there, because I could see it turn out to be one of the sleeper hits of early 2019. Next up, another one some of you guys might be a little surprised of me putting in the wait for a sale category, and that is Devil May Cry 5. Now, I personally am very excited for this game, but I have to put my personal expectations and personal preferences aside. Devil May Cry, just generally, comparatively speaking to the other games that are released at $59.99, is it worth that full $60? I don't know. I think a lot of people would say no. Devil May Cry is generally very fast-paced, very high-octane. Go check out the demo if you haven't checked that out yet, and the gameplay on that is great. The music is great. However, a full $60 for a rather short experience like a Devil May Cry game offers. They did say this is going to be 10 to 15 hours. I feel like a decent player at the game could beat it a little bit quickly, but even with the benefit of the doubt, $60 for a 10 to 15 hour experience. Yes, I for one have been more of an advocate on games that, aren't overly lengthy. But in the case of a Devil May Cry 5, I could see it going on sale pretty quickly. Even though it's a part of a major IP, there's a reason why Devil May Cry has been absent for so long, and maybe that's because it just hasn't resonated at that larger scale. And with Devil May Cry 5, I do see it doing pretty well commercially, but also I could see it going on sale pretty quickly. And generally speaking, from a quality standpoint, it's not like Devil May Cry has been one of those franchises that's been at the absolute top, like say alongside a Dark Souls or alongside a Metal Gear. Devil May Cry has never been at that tier. They've been good games, a little bit inconsistent. I would even say Devil May Cry 1 and 3 were really great. Devil May Cry 2 was what it was. Devil May Cry 4 was good, but I wouldn't say it was excellent, and I was personally a big fan of DMC Devil May Cry, but you see what I'm saying? It's not like the games are super consistent where every game has been a home run, and with Devil May Cry 5, I would say wait for a sale on this one. It is out March 8th. Next up, we have another title that's been going under the radar quite a bit, and that is Ghost of a Tale. While I'm very excited for this game because it's already been released on PC and it's been received pretty well, and it's a very charming game, it's priced at $25 on Steam, and I don't think it's going to be a game worth that price point. However, it is an action RPG where you play as a mouse and minstrel caught up in a perilous adventure, and it just looks to be a very charming game. I would say keep this game on your radar, add it to your wishlist, and down the line, it's definitely going to go on sale. Might be a PlayStation Plus game, but that is when you should check it out. Ghost of a Tale is out March 12th. Next up, we have The Division 2. It is out March 15th, and you guys already know where I'm going to go with this one. A Ubisoft release? Come on now. Dropping $60 on day one for a Ubisoft game? That is absolutely not happening. Do I need to point to Assassin's Creed Odyssey? That game is available right now for $18 on Newegg. How long ago did that game come out? It hasn't even been 4 months and it's down to $18. If you're telling me the same thing can't happen with The Division 2, you are out of your mind. If this game just doesn't resonate at a high level, we've seen what Ubisoft does. Even if a game does sell really well, these days they'll just discount it anyway. Again, point to an Assassin's Creed Odyssey. In all regards, that game did rather well commercially, but they put it on sale pretty quickly as well. I very much much expect the same thing out of The Division 2. For that reason alone, I really can't justify dropping $60 on it. I would say wait for a discount and then go from there, and I wouldn't be all too surprised if the discount comes by, say, summertime and it's down to $30. Next up, we have a game that has seemingly garnered a little bit of anticipation just because it's a part of a big IP and it seems to be a different kind of game. One Piece World Seeker is out March 15th. Now, as far as anime games go, you guys already know that they're a little bit hit or miss, but in the case of the One Piece games, I would say that they're a little bit more miss than hit. However, in the case of One Piece World Seeker, it's taking One Piece to an open world environment, and the gameplay we've seen thus far has looked really good. Unfortunately, just on the basis that it is a One Piece game, you have to be a little bit skeptical. You gotta wait on the reviews for this one. Absolutely not one to buy on day one, and with it being a Bandai Namco title, again, one of those publishers that put their games on sale rather quickly, so definitely one to keep your eyes on if you are a One Piece fan, but one that could turn out not so great, so I would definitely say wait for a sale on this one, or at the very least wait for the reviews. Moving on from that, we have Chocobo's Mystery Dungeon Everybody. Now, this game is already listed on the PlayStation Store, and it's at a pretty hefty $39.99, so you guys can see why I'm already saying wait for a sale on this one. The classic Final Fantasy Fables Chocobo Dungeon, however, is finally back with an enhanced gameplay system to be enjoyed by both first-timers and fans of the series. You'll be able to explore the challenges of the never-ending dungeons, befriend monsters with a new buddy system, and you have to just adhere to one simple rule. Every time you enter, the world around you changes shape, but it only moves whenever the Chocobos move. So it is a spin-off game to the Final Fantasy titles. A little bit low budget in terms of presentation, so that $40 price point, yes, it's cheaper than $60, but even then, I don't think it's quite worth it. I would say wait for a sale on this one, and I don't think that sale is all too far off. Next up, we do have The Sinking City, and this is another Lovecraftian horror game, and these games have just generally gone on sale pretty quickly. I'll point to Call of Cthulhu. That game wasn't even received all too well, so The Sinking City, while what I've seen of it has looked quite good, and I'm interested in the game. Another game I would harken similarly to Left Alive, but at a smaller scale. I think Left Alive's ceiling is a lot higher, but in the case of The Sinking City, I do see the potential being there for the game not turning out all too great. But the footage we've seen thus far has looked pretty interesting. The setting is cool at the half-submergent city of Oakmode, and it's gripped by supernatural forces. You're a private investigator, and you have to uncover the truth of what has possessed the city. Mysterious, it's a little bit eerie, it's probably going to be released at $59.99, and at that price point, a little bit hard of a sell. Next up, another pretty interesting RPG, we have Outward, an open-world RPG where the cold of the night or an infected wound could be as dangerous as a predator lurking in the dark. So this is a game with a lot of hardcore elements in there, and it touts an immersive RPG experience coupled with survival gameplay, offering a deeply rewarding, challenging experience for the most avid of gamers. This is coming from Deep Silver and 9 Dot Studios. Could be an interesting game, but especially for a console gaming consumer, I would say wait on this one. This is a game I would say is more related to PC gaming, so see if it goes on sale, see how the reviews are, but definitely not one to pick up on day one. And lastly, I would say wait on a sale for Assassin's Creed 3 Remastered. It is getting a physical release, but this is yet another Ubisoft published game, and it's getting a hefty price release at $39.99. Now, it does come with AC3 and Assassin's Creed 3 Liberation, so you do get two games. However, Assassin's Creed 3 Liberation just wasn't a very good game. AC3, on the other hand, it was a pretty good game, even though the elements with Desmond were an absolute train wreck. The fundamental content of AC3, I would say, was quite good. However, at $40, a little bit steep of a price point. However, if you have been playing AC Odyssey and you have the season pass, of course, you're just getting it with that, so that would be the best way to get AC3 Remastered. Otherwise, if you want the game standalone, it's a Ubisoft published game, and I would say wait for a sale on it. It's gonna go on sale pretty quickly, you know, sooner rather than later. And that's gonna conclude this video. Again, I thought I broke that down pretty well. I would say the games to buy are Sekiro Shadows Die Twice, Generation Zero because of its budget price point, and if you have interest in Danganronpa and getting into it as a franchise because it's just held up in value so hard, the trilogy for $60 isn't a bad idea. A lot of the games that I would say are skip do have a lot of interest to me. Left Alive could be something really special. Devil May Cry is a franchise that I absolutely love, but if we judge it objectively, is it worth a full $60 right out the gate? I wouldn't say so. And there are other interesting games like One Piece World Seeker and The Sinking City to keep your eyes on. That's gonna conclude this video. Make sure to sound off with all of your thoughts in the comment section down below. Thank you for watching, and goodbye. Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and if you're already subscribed, do us a favor and hit the bell icon. This way you'll be notified whenever we post a new video. That's the best way to keep up with all of our uploads, and we usually try to upload 2 videos a day. And with the bell icon hit, you'll be notified whenever we do upload a video. As always, thanks for watching.